In this lesson, we're going to compare and contrast cultural characteristics in different Middle Eastern countries. When I say cultural characteristics, I mean pieces of culture. So we have a list here. It could be art, family life, food, language, holidays and celebrations, or sports. For this first step, choose 3 that you're interested in. And you can do this in a number of ways. You can highlight it. That's totally fine. You could put a little check mark if you know how to do that. Just show your teacher which 3 you have chosen. Once you've done that, we're going to go down to step 2. Out of this list, choose 3 Middle Eastern countries that you are interested in learning more about. Again, you can highlight them, you can check them. Here are your choices. And if you're not sure, maybe try some ones you've never heard of to learn something new. Now, what you're going to do is compare and contrast those cultural characteristics in those different countries. So it's a great idea to first fill in the countries you did. So if you chose Iran, Iraq, and let's say Turkey, you might have done different ones. That's totally fine. This is just an example. You would put the names of the countries up here. You would then, where it says cultural characteristic, put the 3 that you chose. So maybe you did sports, art, and family life. I think a lot of you will find the family life readings interesting, so I highly recommend those. So what you'll do then is, using the Middle Eastern culture sources, you're going to complete this chart. So you're going to provide 2 or 4 sentences on sports in Iran, sports in Iraq, sports in Turkey, art in Iran, art in Iraq, art in Turkey, so on and so forth, right? And you're going to get that information from here. So it brings you to this Google drawing, which is a map. Here are the directions we just went over, and you see links to all the different countries. It might also be interesting, if you're choosing your countries, to do ones that are close together to see if they're similar, to do countries that are on different sides of the Middle East. Just some ideas. So again, if I chose Iran and I chose sports, I'm going to click the Iran link. It's going to take me to a slide full of sources about Iranian culture. It's going to give me a little map of Iran. And Google Slides can be slow, so this is when you take a little break and you just wait for them to load. Okay, here they are. So I chose sports. So I'm seeing some information that I didn't necessarily choose. I am looking for sports. Here it is. So I would read this little paragraph and a half, and it would tell me about what sports are popular in Iran, who plays sports in Iran, so on and so forth. And I would summarize that information in like 2 or 4 sentences in this box. I would then go back to my map, click Iraq, because that was my next country, and look for sports there, so on and so forth. You can also just, since you have Iran open, fill it out for Iranian sports, then do art, then do family life, and then close that tab, open up the Iraq tab, do those 3. Whatever makes most sense to you. Once you've filled in this chart, you have 3 analysis questions. So the first one, and we're looking for complete sentences in these, what similarities did you notice across the 3 countries? Which cultural characteristic did you feel was the most significant? So did you feel sports was the most important to people, art was the most important to people, or family life was the most important to people? And it says why, so you need to explain why you felt the one you chose was most important. And then we have that big guiding question we've been answering these days, which is, what is the danger of a single story about the Middle East? So what could be harmful or dangerous about making assumptions about these 3 countries? If I assume that they're all the same, what am I missing? Explain that. If you have questions on this assignment, please ask your social studies teacher. Good luck.